cleanse, but I am wanting to.
Maybe we should do it together. Like,
Yeah, we can all poop together. Are you going?
How
It would be great.
What if you can't do it for 3 whole days, like just for time period wise, like you know what I mean, weekend, like you know your Monday's not gonna work out. Like, is it beneficial to do it for 2, or is it the fact that you do it for 3 that's beneficial?
I don't know for sure, and I can check on it after, like in the next couple of days, but I would assume that the reason it's 3 days is because that's a long enough time period to get all of the stuff through your system. Whereas if you're only doing it for 1 day or 2 days, you're kind of only doing partial, which partial is probably better than nothing.
Right.
But 3 days would be better.
Ideally,
yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Jenny, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Becca. Finish your question.
Oh, are you done, Becca?
Yeah,
I think she's finished.
So I had a question earlier that the lower bowel, because it's herbal and it's concentrated, you should drink water with it, huh? When you take it, I mean, like a good, like 8 ounces maybe, or?
I do. Well, I drink out of the big pint-sized mason jars. That's just what I use for drinking, because then it makes me drink more.
Right.
When you buy, so you can buy this with there's like a whole cleanse package or whatever. There's 4 different herbs, and when you get that, it gives you a detailed thing that tells you what you're supposed to do. And I know that you're supposed to do like 20 minutes before you eat, and you're supposed to do in the morning and the night for some of them, and so it gives you a detailed thing. I kind of just chug it.
Yeah. I did that
But
like
I don't
12
really
years
eat
ago when
very
we
much
lived in
in the morning.
Kentucky. I did the cleanse. And I'm like, I drank so much water, I thought it was floating away.
Yeah.
Because you're like taking them all pretty much throughout the whole
it's
day.
a lot of pills by the
Yeah.
time you're done,
But it's good. It's really good.
They're
So
all-
how do you feel like after the cleanse or during the cleanse? Are you like feeling like you're lacking energy, or you're feeling sick?
I would say when you're doing the cleanse, the toxins are leaving your body, so it almost makes you not feel well.
You almost feel nauseous.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
You could
You
feel
have
nauseous.
caffeine withdrawal.
Yeah, you feel kind of like fluish, but it's all the toxins just leaving your system.
a lot of times
So don't give up.
when
Yeah.
you're healing, exactly, you almost go through like like the toxins are coming out of your body, so you're almost going through like a bad time. So it's a detox. So some people give up and they're like, oh, this is horrible, it's making me feel bad,
Making
I
me
don't
feel
like
worse.
this, I'm done. And then they don't get through it, and they don't get that benefit of getting the cleansing
But
cycle.
it reminds me when your body does that it's telling you that you need to rest, you need to relax, you need to lay down.
That's a good
Do it on a
point.
weekend when you don't have
Yeah.
a lot going on.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
don't have all these commitments.
Where you're
Maybe a
eating
little
sugar.
bit of sweating is good
Yeah.
though too. Like if you
Absolutely.
can, either or.
Could you
Or
add
dip.
cayenne to the apple juice? That'd probably be really great.
Yeah, actually,
It'd be really
cayenne
cleansing.
is actually something that's awesome to take every day.
Totally.
A teaspoon of cayenne in warm water
Lemon
is
water,
really
yeah.
good because it's a stimulant, which gets your body moving, and it's also a tonic, so it helps strengthen, and it's specifically good for circulation, which is good for your heart. And it's really good for just giving you, like I picture it as being like an uplift of your day. And they suggest starting with a 1/4 teaspoon and working up to a teaspoon. But honestly, I was experimenting a couple months ago. So cayenne is because it's a stimulant. It also it's an equalizer. So what it does is so if you ever have a heart attack, take some cayenne. It will stop your heart attack.
I've heard that.
But
That's awesome.
if you're bleeding, so I cut myself really bad on some glass on my finger. I sliced it almost down to the bone, and it didn't hurt at all, but I was like gushing blood, and it wouldn't stop. And so in my schooling, I had learned cayenne stops bleeding. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try this out. So I took a teaspoon in warm water of cayenne, and I just downed it, and it doesn't really taste that great. And that was my first time trying
Burns.
it. I didn't notice it burning, but I don't know if that was just my brain. But it totally stopped the bleeding. So what happens is it equalizes your blood, so your blood, when you get cut, the blood squirts to that area because it's like saying, oh my gosh. And so it equalizes your blood so the blood recirculates through your whole body. So then your injury has enough time to start the healing process of creating the scab, basically. And so it has enough time to kind of coagulate a little bit, and then when the blood comes back to that point, it's basically pretty much covered, so it can't squirt out. So when I did that, I had cut myself pretty deep, and it was still bleeding a little bit. It's not like there was no red on my finger, I'm not saying that at all, but it wasn't dripping at all. It just kind of like puddled. You know how like when an injury kind of puddles up and then it's like a ball of, it was like that. And I was really impressed. But yeah, if you have a heart attack, teaspoon warm water, chug it, stops your heart attack. You can go to the doctor or whatever and
Carry cayenne in your purse then.
yeah, cayenne is
Or
a
in your
great
pocket.
thing to have.
Because you can't run to the cupboard while you're
Yeah.
having a heart attack.
Great thing to have as to go in your first aid kit.
I have a really awesome cleanse drink that I'd love to share at the end if it's okay.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so also with the 3-day cleanse, you should also drink 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil 3 times a day. And what that does is it helps lubricate your bowels so that it flushes your system a little bit easier. It creates a little bit of a, slimy going out kind of deal. Okay. Any questions about this? What time is it? How am I doing on time? Am I like
7:30.
Oh no. Okay, we better zip through these ones. I don't know anymore. I was thinking I didn't have enough to talk about. Okay,
We keep
so
asking questions.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
so water, our body is made up of more than 2/3 water, okay? This one says 72%. In my school book, it says over 80%. Some people use the fraction 2/3, which is like 60-something%. So, anyway, our body is tons of water. You can see this is a breakdown of how much water makes up. Our lungs is 90%. Our blood is 82% water. Our skin is 80% water. Our muscles are 75% water. Our brain is 70% water. Our bones is 22% water. So even our hard bones are made out of water, which is really an amazing thing. So one of the most important things that we put into our body is water, and we can't survive much more than a couple days without it. And water helps us have good health. It's a lubricant, a solvent, a transportant, a coolant, and a dispersant. And it helps us digest our food, and it maintains proper body temperature, and it keeps our lungs moist, and it helps the trillions of cells that are all throughout our whole body. And it helps our lymph system function, and it helps carry toxins out of our body. So the kind of water that we drink is important also. So if you flip to the next page on your pamphlet, it tells you a list of different types of waters. So we have different kinds of waters like hard water, soft water, I don't remember what some of the other ones are.
Raw, boiled, rain,
Boiled, okay.
snow, filtered.
So pretty much the
ionized.
thing about all of those different kinds of waters is that even if you're purifying it, if you have some kind of filtration system, the filter still can't kill the germs and bacteria. So you might be able to separate the chemicals out of your water, but you still have the bacteria. So the reason distilled water is so great is because it's the kind of water that is like, it's like rainwater, which it evaporates up into the clouds and then the rain drops it down. But the problem with rainwater today is that our air is so polluted that by the time it hits the ground, the water's polluted already. So a distiller is nice because it does that whole process, but it's confined inside of the, inside of the distiller process. So it evaporates inside the distiller and then it rains down. I'm pointing over there because I'm
There's
pointing
like
to my
2 half
distillers. Sorry.
The distillers?
Yeah, those white things. I have 2 of them.
So when you're buying bottled water from the store, is that distilled or is that just regular water?
You can buy distilled water, but 99% of bottled water is not distilled. So it still comes with the same issues. So I have to tell you this gross science project that Tyler did. And he hasn't finished the science project, so I can't tell you the end result. But he took a drop of water, he took tap water, but I'd like him to do it with my filtered water and also my distilled water. That's what he hasn't done yet. But, okay, can you ask Kylie? Okay. okay, come over here, come over here.
He wants some water.
Here, Uncle Dick will get it for you.
Come here.
I got it.
So so he took a drop of water and he put it like on a toothpick, and then we went into the bathroom and he shined a laser pointer on it because our bathroom has no windows, so it was really dark in there. And he shined a laser pointer on it, and the picture went onto the wall, the shadows, and it was so disgusting. There was like probably 5 million little floaty things that were like moving around in this little drop of water. It was very gross. Okay, you don't have to have it. So, anyway, the other thing that's really good about distilled water is that it is a hungry water, which means it is just water and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen. That's what it is, right? It doesn't have any other chemicals or anything else added to it. And because it's only those two things, it is a hungry water and it wants to collect everything that it comes across. So it's kind of like magnet water. And when you drink it, it goes into your body and it collects all of those mineral deposits and all of those calcium deposits that are floating in your body and settling places. And the distilled water comes. Will you get him some of those vegetables over there? He hasn't had dinner yet. Anyway, so the distilled water actually helps cleanse your body and cleanse your system. So remember I said Dr. Christopher had rheumatoid arthritis, and he had, throughout his life, he had problems with that where he would get really in a lot of pain. And one time somebody came and told him about distilled water and he started drinking it. That was the only thing he changed. And he went from being stricken to a wheelchair to being able to walk around just from drinking distilled water. Okay, moving right along. Okay, my last page is talking about my herbs. Or not my herbs, but about herbs in general. So we already So we already talked about a couple of them actually earlier. We talked about cayenne and we talked about the lower bowel formula. Some of the other really great ones are the rest of the cleansing formulas. These ones right here, which we have the kidney formula, liver and gallbladder formula, and the bloodstream formula. So this is the package that you could buy if you ever wanted to. Like I said, I'm totally not selling anything. I'm not making any money. This is just for your own, if you're interested in making yourself extra healthy. But the thing is that to get to the point where you're going to the bathroom, having bowel movements 3 to 5 times a day, especially if your peristaltic muscles have gotten lazy at this point, like we're all adults, and so we probably all, unless you have a really good functioning system already, you probably have a lazy bowel at this point. And so I would really suggest getting the lower bowel formula to help strengthen your bowels and get them functioning properly again. And the cool thing about the lower bowel formula is that since it's herbs and since it's a natural laxative, it's not habit forming. So what happens is if you took a laxative from the store, then you have to, maybe next month you might need 2, and then the next month you might need 4, and it gets increases. But with the lower bowel formula, an average adult can fix their bowels with maybe about 6 to 9 months, and then you'll notice that you can start decreasing, and eventually you can wean yourself off of the formula, which is really cool. But the liver and gallbladder formula helps speed up the blood purifying process. The kidney formula, about 80% of our body is liquid, and much of this fluid has to be pumped through the kidneys to be cleansed and the toxins taken out. And so the kidney formula is a way to pump up your urinary tract system and get your body moving in the right way that way. And the blood cleanser formula, your blood in your body is the thing that keeps you going, right? That's what your body is. The blood is the thing that makes your heart beat or whatever. And so you want to make sure that you have really good blood. Any kind of problem that you have that's a skin problem, acne, rashes, I can't think of other skin problems, but anything that's on the surface of your skin, that's basically your body saying, I'm trying to get toxins out of my body, and that's how it's, you know, eczema, anything like that. So you want to make sure that you have good, clean blood to help your body be working correctly. Yeah.
All natural stuff.
These are all natural, yeah, they're herbs. So like for instance, on this one it says, herbal medicine can't tell you exactly the constituents, what's in here, because then it's medicine. And herbs, like, I'm going to school and I'm graduating, but I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not a naturopath, I'm not a homeopath, I'm not anything to do with the medical world. And so when you're looking at like what's in the herbs, they're not going to say 50% of this is this herb and 25% is this word, because then they're getting into the medical profession as far as the FDA is concerned, or the AMA, the American Medical Association. And so you can look at this and you'll see Cascara sagrada, golden seal root, everything's organic too, turkey rhubarb, red raspberry leaf, fennel seed, barberry bark. So like if you look at each of these all have reasons for what they do. So like for instance, fennel seed is an anti-flatulent. So you're having stuff that's moving your bowels, and the fennel seed is in there to help you so that you're counteracting the gas that might come along with moving your bowels, okay? So each of these different herbs has a purpose inside of these different formulas.
His book talks about what each of them do. Yeah.
This one?
Doesn't his book talk about what each of the herbs do?
Yeah, I
What
put
they
all my
help
books
with?
around if you wanted to look at any of them, but yeah, there's tons of books that say what different things do, but the one, I don't know if you can move it right now because the video thing's on it, but yeah, that yellow one that you just pointed to, that's Dr. Christopher's like Bible book. That one's got a lot of the good stuff, but I've really enjoyed, I mean, I've read pretty much almost every single one of these. Some of them are, like that green one is like I didn't read that one. But anyway, a lot of the books have information herb by herb or problem by problem, saying, you know, these are the herbs that you can use for this problem, or this herb is good for this kind of thing. Other good things to have every day is molasses, like blackstrap molasses, just like in Mary Poppins. I don't know what she really fed them, but apple cider vinegar is really good. Put a teaspoon of honey and a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in some water and drink it 3 times a day. Olive oil to help lubricate your bile ducts, your bile and your liver ducts, and wheat germ oil helps cholesterol in your heart, and kelp is awesome. It has things to help your thyroid.